Folks, breaking news special here for the Breakdown Boys. Your boy Wade Sensei in the building.
Ooze, what's up?
I mean, this isn't really breaking news, but breaking reactions.
Yeah, right.
For the Breakdown Boys. Sensei, no time to waste here, okay? We're going to get straight into it.
Bro, that was just
straight into that thing.
I had the day off today from the dojo. You know, it's President's Day here in the States. Okay. So I'm just like relaxing, having a grand old time. Then I go on Twitter like, wait a second, what's going on here? What is happening, bro?
I'm taking bullets for you, bro. I'm taking strays. I'm taking bullets left and right. I'm not even doing it for you. I'm doing it because it's right. Because it's the right thing to say and do, and it's the right opinion to have. There is a right and a wrong opinion, Sensei, and I've got the right one. Listen to me now. As you've probably seen at this moment,
yes,
a former foe, now I would call a friend of yours, King Kenny, has come out with his top 5 pound-for-pound influencer boxing list. Have you seen this?
Yes. You know, this is getting me in trouble everywhere. I had to pull up the Happy Punch, like our private chat in the group, and they were all like, bro, what is this list? I'm like, hey, guys, relax. Because, you know, Dean's not on it, and Poppy's not on it. So I'm like, they put Kenny, it might have been like a low-key thing. He putting me in the crosshairs, bro. Putting me in the crosshairs. Bro.
Facts. I'm going to try to actually find the video here of King Kenny.
Yeah, I actually have not seen the video. So there's a video of this?
Let me see if we can't find it.
Was it just quoted?
So, Sensei, I do have, after a long search here,
dude,
I do have a half cut off video of Kenny actually giving his picks here. So let's take a look.
That's a good question, man. Influencer boxing, I'd say number 1 is definitely Jake Paul.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, KSI. Number 3, I'd say Sensei.
Whoa! Stop the tape! Stop the tape! You're coming in at number 3, bro.
Bro, I'm not. The best part is I'm not number 3 on anybody's list. I'm not even top 5 on anybody's list.
You ain't even. I ain't gonna lie to you, fam. You're not even on my top.
I'm not even on mine, bro. You know what I'm saying?
But that's the thing. But I okay. We're gonna talk about it. But let's let him finish out.
So
the
like
top
this
5.
is that's why it's to me it's like okay.
Number 4, Slim.
Mm-hmm. I was thinking real hard about this.
This is like
and number 5, me.
Oh, he snuck it in at the end. Number 5, him. You saw him sneaking it at the end. Whoever clipped this did him so dirty with that. Made it seem like he was trying to just slide that part in at the end. Number 5, me. And then he just dips out.
Sorry. Like the fact that half of his face is cut off, like this whole clip of it doesn't even seem real. And then it's like
I couldn't find the real footage. I couldn't find the actual thing. This guy's got a New York hat on, flipped backwards. He's a gangster with it. You know what I mean?
Dude.
So anyway, okay.
Number 5, me. Oh man, that was great.
And number 5, me. So we do have, Sensei, you can see here, we have Kenny's pound for pound top 5. Now, obviously, not even talking about yourself here. What do you think about the top 5 at all? And I got to ask, listen, I love Kenny to death. Someone gave him a nice, fresh hairline on this one, brother.
He's
been working on it.
Yeah, he has.
He went to the same spot I think Mike Malak and Logan went to in Turkey for this. But, hey, listen, we all got to come home. Look at my shit. But
I know.
Talk to me about the top 5. What do you think about Kenny's top 5 list? And we'll get to you in just a second here.
I don't mind him putting himself there. You know, I don't mind that at all.
Even after the temper loss.
I mean, yeah. I mean, because he has a KO, and then based off what he's talking about, if he has me at 3, you know what I'm saying?
I think this is a smart move from him, honestly. If he's like, listen, how do I get myself into the top 5? I got to put Sensei at 3. Because if I put him at 3, then I can justify the win.
And I'm not mad with Slim at 4, you know?
It's a rough picture. They got a Slim.
I know.
It's a rough picture, bro.
I know. There's no Gib. I know.
Slim smiles like Chandler from Friends, bro. It's rough. But no, okay. There's no Gib. There's no Salt Poppy. There's no Dean the Great, which he took exception to. I don't know if you saw that.
I did see that.
He said,
yes, I heard about it too. Yep.
And these are co-commentators here. We might have some beef. I don't know. He said disrespectful. Said that's just disrespectful to the champ.
I think it's also because KSI just came out with his. and Dean
Oh,
was
yes.
on it, and Dean was on
Yep.
it, right? So since Dean was on that one, it's like that feels a little bit more solidified. Then all of a
Right.
sudden, Kenny comes out with this. But
Kenny
gonna
was
roll into JJ's reaction now.
Yeah, so so there's the top 5. I don't necessarily disagree. I do think that Salt Poppy has to be somewhere in that top 5. Same with Gibb, but KSI had a different disagreement there, and he said this list makes no sense. Laughing emoji at King Kenny. You literally beat Sensei, so how is he still ahead of you?
Now,
Which, to be fair, is not a bad point.
it's not a bad point. It's just this is where like my brain was like really fumbling, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it's JJ. Like I'm being supported by the guy that I fought.
Mm-hmm.
You know, interesting enough,
JJ kind of turning coat on you here.
the guy who's ranking me higher than himself, who technically beat me in a decision.
Yep,
is-
technically.
right? So that part was interesting. But JJ says this, right?
Yeah.
But the comment section went crazy. I was like,
did they? Let's see. Kenny is respectful. He's humble. Dean, basically admitting he lost. So Dean's salty still.
yeah, essentially
Dean's
that's,
pissed.
that's essentially what a lot of people were
But
saying.
it's what it
That's I
comes down
saw.
to, right? Is so, and you do see some of the comments here. What's the pound for pound supposed to be? You know, so KSI's reaction is what I think KSI views this entire scene as. Which, to be
Right.
fair, it kind of should be viewed that way, which is wins and losses, activity, yada yada, right? So if you got the decision over Sensei, not necessarily that you beat him, but if you got that decision, then there is no logical reason for you to put him above yourself, thus making it nonsense, right? What I thought, and Kenny actually ended up proving me wrong, oddly enough, but what I thought, and let's go to my tweet here, which did spark a lot of conversation, Sensei, since I was, again, they thought running defense. I was just speaking the facts, bro. By the way, dope thumbnail. Shout out Cristione.
Clean.
Clean. Okay, Sensei in there. Oh, there's your response there. I said simply, I respect this list a ton. Not just because I think Sensei won that fight, but because Kenny knows after being in there with him that Sensei should realistically be on most top 5 lists. Again, my thinking here was skill for skill.
Right,
You
right,
belong, and I'll give you your flowers here. You belong on any top 5 list in the influencer scene. Skill for skill, right? I can understand the argument of, okay, well, Sensei hasn't been active enough, and he hasn't fought enough to be even talked about in a top 5, even maybe potentially a top 10.
Right.
when there's
That
other
makes
guys
sense.
fighting.
Yeah, but if you're
That
gonna
I
if you're gonna
get.
word it like skill for skill, obviously you can throw me in there because I can fight any one of these guys.
Exactly. That was my point. Is on any given day you can fight and beat, I would say, any one of these guys, Jake included, with the right time and preparation and etc. So, and then I got absolutely demolished on Twitter. I didn't listen. People think they demolished the kid, but you know what I'm saying, I came out swinging. But the idea was, how do you think Sensei, the same argument. Sensei didn't beat Kenny. How could he have beat him? He should have beat him more. He should have beat more convincingly if he's going to be top 5. That was the whole thing. I present to you.
which is amazing because this wouldn't be a conversation if Kenny didn't put me in there. It wasn't like somebody else
Exactly.
put me in there. Kenny put me in there. Like it
Kenny
wasn't
put
like
you in there.
Some random top 5. It wasn't like Misfits put it
Right.
out. Like Kenny himself. This is Kenny's pound for pound top 5 list. You know?
And you came to his head before his name even came into his head.
Right, and that's the thing.
So-
that's the thing with people. He said he did it without thinking.
That's something we have to talk about. So let's go to his response here. So Kenny maybe feeling that KSI heat, maybe feeling the fandom and the mandem raining down. Listen, he said, LMAO, I got asked in the heat of the moment, didn't think it through properly, to be honest. I'd say replace, this is actually really funny, I'd say replace Sensei with Beetlejuice, then it's accurate.
That was awesome.
It's actually super funny, bro. Look at Beetlejuice. You don't want to smoke a Beetlejuice. He puts the beat in Beetlejuice. You feel me?
Yes.
So okay, but this is an interesting point, and you had a great point on this. What did that tell you when Kenny came with this response?
Well, obviously we've fought, so your memory or your first initial thoughts of like people's experience is going to go to who have you sparred with, right? Who have you competed against,
Yep.
right? In comparison, so like who has he sparred, and also he's watched guys, but he's been in the ring with me. He's seen me hit mitts a little bit or whatever, and we've talked. Thus, then and we've been around each other a few times for the other fights. So I think what happened was when it comes like skill for skill. And just ability, without thinking and just immediate reaction, he's like, okay, KSI, okay, and I got to put Sensei there.
Who's the next skilled guy?
Right.
Sensei.
It wasn't like when you typically
like,
do
let me
a
think
top
of who's
five,
got more wins,
who's
and
got
more
wins,
losses. Exactly.
Who's been more active, and when you add all the context. But
Right.
he was just like off rip because he knows that I can compete with any one of those guys. Clearly.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Is he knows that I'm clearly can be in there,
I think that's the most telling part of that response is that he came out and said, well, I didn't think it through.
The part that confused me
that,
more so is that he didn't put himself either before me or like right after. And then he put Slim, and then it took a while to get to himself. That's probably the thing that was...
Kenny could be a genius. Let's at least enter that evidence into the claim here. He could be a genius. By putting you and a guy that he's already said he wants to fight in Slim at some point, and another guy that he also said he'd step up and fight in KSI in front of him, it makes it look as if he does get those fights, which he's already gotten the fight with you, that one's a little confusing, but if he does get the fight with Slim, and he gets the fight with KSI, he can say, listen, I beat number 2 and number 4, and already had number 3 in the bag. I'm number 1 overall.
I do think, not even on purpose, but I think there's a
maybe
part
it's how he
of
looks
it
at it
that and I said this right after the fight when the decision came to fruition. I said that Kenny's not going to get the due credit that he deserves for how he performed against me because he was such an underdog, right? So even though the decision was controversial, I thought that he would have gotten better flowers if he had lost.
A decision to you, yeah, 100%.
Right.
That's another thing, dude.
Now, I think because if he sees this, he goes, I think even maybe his initial reaction, like, that was a tough fight. Like, Sensei was a real tough opponent, and people may...
That's what I'm saying.
The focus is so... Everything's talked about the controversy, and, I haven't fought, I haven't been active, so I think it kind of gets watered down or washed down, and I think it would have been better. Let's say I did win. Maybe I do end up in the top 5 because I did win, right? And then Kenny can say I lost a decision, but I had a tough fight or a close fight, and maybe he gets better props then. You know what I mean?
Right. This is called not being able to see the forest for the trees, right? When people look at Kenny and you guys are now intertwined for life, it seems, when this fight gets talked about, and really when Kenny gets talked about, 2 things happen, and it really, really frustrates me because you're right, it doesn't give Kenny the credit he deserves. They either say, listen, Kenny's not that good because Temper smoked him or because Temper beat him convincingly, whatever. Which, again, we're in the fight game. Fighters get better over time, and some guys do it a lot quicker than others. I would say Kenny is a guy that's done it very quickly.
We just watched... Remember, you and I just watched the Temper fight again.
We were just sitting here the other night off camera watching it.
I was like, again, I just realized, damn, he made a lot of progress from the guy that fought that night in comparison to the guy that I fought. It was two
and not
completely
just
different
boxing
guys.
ability, his body changed. He has gotten so much bigger, right? And it's just he's more confident. There's so much that goes into it, and it frustrates me when you guys are like, oh, that's the guy that Sensei couldn't beat, but Temper smoked. No, not top 5. I'm like, shut up. This is the sport moves congruently. Everyone moves forward or backward. It's fluid. You don't just take one performance and then go boxing math 1 + 1 = 2, and then your answer is 3 somehow. No, it's you watch every fight individually and see the progression and or regression that guys are making. Kenny is one of the guys that doesn't get enough credit because he had a close fight with you. Unfortunately for him, the decision got all wonky, but even in the Temper fight, the decision thing, there's a little bit of that kind of stain, which is not his fault at all.
Correct.
And I think he's starting to remove that little by little. And again, I thought his answer originally was helping him to remove that by saying, what I think he honestly thinks is that you are one of the top 5 guys in the scene. And I even think his response to KSI is a little bit more of that cheeky, like, I'm not saying that I was wrong, but I'm not going to go ahead and double down on this thing type of thing,
Right. I think because
he
in this
truly
case,
does
it does, I think it's a way of him again, I don't know if it's on purpose. I'm not speaking for him, but
Right.
showing that his win, even though everyone say that he lost, giving himself more credit that he deserves. For his performance with me, right? Regardless
There's
of
not
win
a
or
single
loss,
guy.
just his performance against a guy like me with my experience and my skill level, right? And
let's do this. Let's
so to me,
really
that
be
part I
honest
get.
about something. Let's be honest about something. There's not a single guy in the top 10 in their second fight ever that would have went the distance with you. Not one. Not one.
No.
And I'm not saying that to be disrespectful. Jake would not have gone the distance with you. KSI, I don't think would have gone the distance with you. Slim, I don't think so. You could even go Gibb in his second fight ever. Absolutely not. And again, these aren't disrespectful things. It's just the amount of skill that that Kenny has had.
Maybe Logan
in that amount of time.
Logan,
and you can make an argument for KSI because when his second fight took place and who he was training for,
just
and
because
he'd had some experience.
KSI,
But I don't think.
I was going to say Kenny and Logan present the reach. And
But I was going to say I don't think that KSI.
that is,
yeah.
You know?
I don't think that KSI when it was Logan Paul 1 was still had enough yet. Logan Paul 2, okay, that's a fight. You know what I'm saying?
He's a monster.
That's a fight.
Yeah,
he's a monster then. But he was still putting it together. You in your training, not necessarily in boxing, because I don't think a lot of people realize you don't train boxing. You're not out training boxing.
I've only ever boxed YouTubers.
This is what I'm saying. You've only ever had 2 boxing matches. 2.
Yeah.
The experience level there is the same. It's just you are such a naturally talented martial artist that things come along quickly for you as well.
Yeah,
you can use some of your other bases.
And I want to say this because I give credit to Kenny for just speaking off the dome, right? Because I am surprised that he put me in the top 5, right? However, when fights are talked about, when anyone's talked about in the top 5, if my name gets mentioned, like against Salt Poppy, right, or against someone like Slim, he's a little bit lighter, or KSI, right, or Jake, no one's like, oh, since he's gonna get murdered. They all see it as a competitive fight, right? And I don't even know if they would say Kenny. They would be more maybe, I don't know if Kenny's ready for a KSI fight or for a Jake fight or for like Salt Poppy per se. But no one would be like, oh, Sensei shouldn't fight Salt Poppy. So what are we really saying? Now, I get the top 5 of like the hierarchy of – that's why I want to put myself in the top 5. I'm not active.
Right.
I just – the loss with Kenny, the decision.
Same.
All that makes sense. But when these fights are talked about on Twitter or whatever, or even offered to me, no one's like, maybe you shouldn't fight these guys because it's too much. You know what I'm saying? Nor am I like, no, I'm not ready. You know what I'm saying? There's nobody on the list that's within my weight class that I wouldn't be ready for. I would say I'm not ready for it. It's just whether I want to or not. That's pretty much what it boils down to. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think anybody in the scene, from coaches to fighters to fans, would be like, oh, I could be an underdog, but not like Sensei has no chance or it wouldn't be competitive. So to me, what Kenny is speaking to, maybe since he was just talking off the dome, was more to like that thought process per se, that 100%. Point of view, which makes sense, 100%. So I think they all know what it is, but it was just great to see it. It's fun. It's a great topic.
No, this is great. This is great, but you summed it up. They all know what it is. Mams Taylor, you heard the man. He just means that, look, bring that, you know what I'm saying? Bring the money bags with you next time you offer some of these fights. You know what I mean?
Seriously.
Put one on one shoulder, one on the other shoulder. You're going to take a fucking army to take these bags off me.
I just find it so ironic and funny that it's just coming from Kenny.
No, it's great. When I saw it, I was like, damn, I respect the hell out of Kenny for that, And then he came, he replaced you with Beetlejuice, and I was like, all right, whatever. What are we doing? I know. But listen, comment section, we don't have these answers. We're just talking like everybody else. Are we crazy? Have we deluded ourselves, Sensei, into our own echo chamber of thoughts that we just double down on? Oh wait, I haven't said the word yet. My bias? Is that what we're doing? My heavy bias? Comment section, you let us know down below. And my bias is Sensei bias. Can we not see the trees? What is it? No, can we not see the forest for the trees? We don't really know at this point. We think we have the right answers, but you guys let us know down below. Breakdown boys, we are out.
I can't take no loss. don't even know what it costs.